'Cause your stare won't ever let me go. I'm here only 'cause I'm aware with you is better than all alone. Oh, 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 say what you're dying to say. No, oh, tonight we're stars but we'll fade away. Go on, light me up, oh, go on, light me up while we're golden. Come on, light me up, oh, come on, light me up before we come down. Stars will always come down, so before we come down, down, down. Go on, light me up, oh, go on, light me up while we're golden. Come on, light me up, oh, come on, light me up before we come down. Go on, light me up, oh, go on, light me up while we're
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Manny Rays NOMA Truck Series live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Not the new version, but the old version. That means we got a good one on tap for you here tonight. And thank you all so much for tuning in. You're watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers just getting ready. Well, actually currently getting gridded up and just getting ready to roll off to get the Flatwoods 200 started here on the night. So without any further ado, let's jump right in to your starting grid here tonight. Taking the pole, it's going to be Kenneth Redinger for Grandstand Racing. He puts down a really nice lap. It looks like a 30.6 lap for Kenneth as he gets ready to take yet another pole. On his outside, it'll start Joey Hickox, first Venom Racing driver in the field here tonight. Just behind them, making up row number 2, it's going to be Jay Stinson in 3rd and Russ Kilgore in 4th. David Traylor back in 5th. Rounded out, row number 3, it's going to be Keith Prince to his outside in 6th. Justin Bentley will roll off 7th. It's going to be Brody Benty in 8th, Mark Beverly in 9th, and Wesley Phillips rounding out your top 10. How about last week's winner, Daytona winner, Bill Hales? He'll roll off 11th tonight, and he has Chase Greer, last season's Rookie of the Year, to his outside in 12th. Moving on back to 13th, it's Clay Cantrell in the 88 machine. Zach Stevens to his outside in 14th. Michael Lawrence 15th, Randy Bonomi in 16th. Nick Wood 17th with Wiley Cantrell in 18th. Ronnie Morrison 19th, and Ryan Gomes rounding out your top 20. Aiden Lund rolls off 21st in the 32 truck. His second race here now in the NOMA Truck Series. Dylan Paws back in 22nd. 23rd will be Justin Parham. 24th, Riley Combs. Kevin Winker came so close last week, couldn't quite get the job done. He'll try to get it done again here tonight if possible. He'll start 25th, so can have a lot of ground to make up in that 42 machine. Derek Catt rolls off on the outside of him in 26th. Corey Buskirk back in 27th in the double 9-8 truck. 28th, Clinton Woodby rounding out the field tonight for a total of 29 trucks. It's going to be Sam Boutwell in the 47. Race info here tonight. Again, it is the Flatwoods 200. Second race of the season here for the NOMA Truck Series. Of course, presented by Manny Rays as always. Tacked on a couple new sponsors, though, this week. M&M, along with, I believe it was Rhino Linings of Bristol. Make sure you check those guys out if you're in the area for either or. But getting back into the race info here tonight, again, the NOMA Truck Series, as always, 130 laps. The scheduled distance stage breaks at the end of lap 25 and the end of lap 65. 75% fuel, 6 total tire sets, including the one these guys are starting the race on. One fast spare if you need it. Fixed setups, and then 3 green-white checkers if we were to need them. Weather outside, not too bad in and of itself, but Atlanta Motor Speedway, 1.5 miles in length. And going to be tricky here, though, because, again, not the new one with the little bit higher banking, but the old one where cheese grater on tires, hot slick. Going to be a lot of fun here tonight. Cooler track temp overall, though. That is going to make for a lot of great racing, especially on these restarts. Here we go, second race of the season at Atlanta. The Flatwoods 200 is underway. They're rocking onto the back straightaway for the first time here tonight. Everybody's still getting up to speed and trying to find a spot in line. Kenneth Redinger going to be seeing if he can pull away here as Joey Hickox quickly looking to jump to the outside of the 24 truck. 31 of Jay Stinson looking for a spot in line, and notice he's running a different paint scheme here tonight, supporting one of the new sponsors, and I believe that is the Rhino Linings of Bristol. Just behind him, Russ Kilgore, who, by the way, what a qualifying effort for Russ here tonight. We know that he got the win, of course, at New Atlanta last season in the All-Star race. And so, maybe doesn't translate quite to the same style of racing, but it's still Atlanta at the end of the day, and clearly he knows how to work his way around this 1.5 mile track. Now going back further, still 2x2 battling here, the 63 of Brody Benty, trying to see if he can hold these two off behind him. The 46 of Wesley Phillips making his first start here on the night. And Bill Hales in the 53, again, last week's winner at Daytona International Speedway. So, he's got a ton of confidence, a ton of momentum on his side. Maybe just as much, if not a little bit more, than the man now leading. Joey Hickox is going to take a move to the inside here of Kenneth Redinger down the back. Looking to see if he can maybe get a little bit of a side draft. He's not going to need it. He's taking the shorter way around the racetrack. I think Kenneth's going to race him pretty hard right here. Yeah, he puts it right on his right rear as they exit 4. He's trying to hold him back, and the best way to do that, of course, is to grab a guy with the side draft, dump a lot of air on the spoiler of that truck next to you and slow him down. Doesn't actually speed your truck up. Again, just slows the truck that you do the side draft on down. But Joey Hickox, last season's winner here at Old Atlanta. So another guy who knows how to get the job done at Old Atlanta. But right now, everybody looking like they're actually handling pretty good, contrary to what we maybe expected. I know the cool track temp is helping everybody right now, but still with as tricky of a track as Atlanta is, it's just going to be a matter of time before we get to a point in the run where as the tires start to fall off, these things start to slip and slide, and if you make a mistake, can see your night go up in flames here pretty early, as we have now ticked off 5 of 130 laps. Again, that first stage break on lap 25. So, oh man, Joey Hickox, he got really loose right there off of turn 2. He had to catch it, but unfortunately, it's going to cost him a bunch of positions. Take a look here. What happens to the 3 truck as they're working off of 1 and 2. He's got Kenneth on his outside. He's trying to put enough wheel into the truck to keep it down on the bottom. And the front sticking because he's got the clean air, but unfortunately, the rear tire's not as much. And man, that thing gets just about 45 degrees sideways. I mean, he's headed for that inside wall, and somehow he saves it, all while keeping his foot in it. So, again, lost a couple positions, but all in all, not too bad. As maybe had a little bit of a moment right there again as they worked off a turn 2 that time. But it is Redinger with the lead. Jay Stinson now up to second. Picked up a spot from where he started this race at. Russ Kilgore rounding out the podium. The 03 of Keith Prince, Joey Hickox rounding out your top 5. Mark Beverly currently sitting just outside the top 5, but he is up 3 positions from where he started. One of the Asphalt Outlaw Racing drivers. About the start to the season for them in general. Now, Bill Hales, by the way, DC Motorsports. Initially, we thought that all these guys were together on Asphalt Outlaws Racing. And so the split of what we saw is maybe one big team over in the Asphalt Outlaw Racing Truck Series has gotten divided up even more this season with the NOMA Truck Series. And it's going to create a lot of great battles, not only with individual drivers, but of course in the team championship matchup, which right now I think is going to be a primary thing between Hickox Racing, Asphalt Outlaws Racing, DC Motorsports, and then of course you can't forget about Grandstand Racing, who's already crowned a champ before, and Kenneth Redinger. And the reason we say Venom Racing because of what we saw last season with Joey Hickox getting crowned a champ in the Truck Series. But when it's a team kind of event, not really event, but a team championship, everybody's got to play their part. And right now, Jay Stinson, Joey Hickox playing their part very well. Keith Prince, though, the rookie from last season who showed a lot of talent. Boy, is that translating over so far here tonight. Currently in that 4th spot. And right now he's got a teammate just a couple spots back in Mark Beverly. Brody Benty making his way up through the field as well. David Trailer in the 54 truck. Talk about Mr. Consistent all the time. Right now he's actually down 3 from where he started, but I think he might be one of the first guys that we're seeing actually do a little bit of the opposite of what it seems like a lot of the field's doing here right out of the gate. And that's saving a little bit more tire than most people would probably think you need to right off the start. And again, it's only a 25-lap sprint here in stage 1. So, I mean, if you think about it, 15 laps to go. If you're David Trailer, when do you decide that it is go time? I mean, 15 to go, not that long here. And so we'll see if he decides to wait, I don't know, maybe 5-10 more laps at most, tries to pick up a couple positions, and then, of course, use that track position to set himself up for stage number 2. But speaking of David Trailer, he is one of the guys that we have carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. And he is going to lead to our first cockpit view here on the night as he rides just by Brody Benty, who slipped up big time off of 4. That truck was not wrapped in the bottom the way Brody was hoping. He is going to be able to fend off that spot at least for now. But notice that David Trailer now, he's peeking around. He's looking for some clean air. Sometimes that's exactly what you got to do in these trucks, especially at Atlanta. But oh, the nose gets cut off just a little bit there. You see the smile. He realized that he ran out of clean air right there at the last second. And so now David Trailer is going to lose all his momentum and potentially lose a spot here in the process. And the guy who's in a great spot now is Jay Stinson, as he is fighting for that clean air with Kenneth Redinger. To the inside goes to 31. Redinger was able to fend off another one of the Venom Racing teammates earlier to Jay Stinson and Joey Hickox by working that outside, and it's just the magic of what he does right there when he puts it on the door. Stinson's got to bail out of the throttle. He doesn't have a choice. If he doesn't, he's going to get tight and maybe get both of those guys in the wall, as Joey Hickox just did right there a couple rows back. And so by Redinger doing that, forces Stinson to lift, and then he's already guaranteed to get the momentum down the straight. And so a really good job defending right now from, again, one of the veterans of the series and a previous champ in the series at that, with Kenneth Redinger. Russ Kilgore continues to watch these two battle. Now he's going to take a peek on his own here just below Jay Stinson. If he gets this, that would move him up to second, put him up 2 spots from where he started this race at. But Jay doing exactly what Kenneth Redinger did to him right there, working the outside, carrying the momentum down the straightaway. Just not really much that Russ Kilgore can do now. A couple of notes that we had, of course, from last time we came here is that top lane, it is very fast, especially if the tires are still relatively fresh. Carry a lot more throttle time, potentially even wide open here in the first couple laps. But speaking of tire wear, it's going to burn a lot more the longer you run up there. So the goal to kind of wrap the bottom is just saving tire until you get later in this run, and eventually that line starts to move up ever so slightly. You're now seeing a lot of the field start to work the middle lane through 1 and 2. And this could change as well if the track temp moves around through the night. Right now, or through the rest of the night, 92 right now. Clear skies, sim time is set, so I don't think the track temp's going to vary very much, but so it looks like it may have went up 2 degrees from the start of this race, and I wonder if that's causing a little bit of the issues we're seeing with a couple guys getting tight, especially off of turn number 2. But up front, how about the battle for the lead? Still throw your top 5 under a blanket, as they are all within a second of your leader. Next biggest gap is between, of course, looks like 5th place right now. And I think that's the 97, by the way, Mark Beverly, who's still hanging on to this draft very strong. Yeah, sure enough, with the teammate now, Keith Prince, just in front of him in 4th, and they've got a gap over David Traylor, along with the 16 of Justin Bentley and Clay Cantrell. And then everybody after them still single file. And trying to get double file here, Zach Stevens was in the middle of 3 wide there for just a moment. In the middle between Michael Lawrence and Kevin Winker. Winker's going to take the top, and he's looking to set up a run here off of 2 on the 33, but another powerful move right there by Zach Stevens, as now he's going to actually get clear of the 42, and that'll pick him up yet another spot here as we close in now on what's going to be 9 laps to go in stage 1 as they cross the stripe this time. Jay Stinson still not letting Kenneth Redinger walk away with it just yet, applying a lot of pressure to the bumper, and any of the mile and a halves pretty much that we go to this entire season, with the giant spoilers again that these trucks have and the lack of horsepower over the cars such as the Cup cars or the Xfinity cars, it's just so hard to really walk away from the field until the tires really start to wear out, especially when you have the talent level that so many of these guys have in the NOMA Truck Series. And right now you're seeing that being displayed with everybody staying right up here within about half a second, at least within the top 5 of your leader, Kenneth Redinger. And that is that draft working its magic. Now that draft kind of plays a little bit of the opposite role as they work through the corners and transitions to dirty air, which is wearing out, especially the front tires for that 31 machine of Jay Stinson. You see, that's why they're trying to run a couple different lines. Redinger loves the middle. Looks like Jay Stinson was trying to follow as well. Man, oh man, Russ Kilgore right now is just kind of licking his chops, hoping that one of these two make a mistake. Maybe he's got a chance to steal the stage win. They're going to be closing in now on 7 laps to go here in stage 1 as they cross the stripe this time. So with that knowledge, starting to run out of time here. If you are Russ Kilgore, you got to think about making a move sooner or later, but it's just every lap that goes by, that pass becomes harder and harder to make. Trying to get to the bottom is going to be your best friend. Further back, now we got a battle with Wesley Phillips and Joey Hickox. This is the battle for 10th. Joey has been struggling. Actually had a lot of speed out of the gate, but after that slip up, not sure if that just scrubbed off a little bit too much tire wear for the 3 truck, but man, he has been really struggling, continuing to fall spots, and at this point, I think he's just trying to not really necessarily limp it home, but just get to this stage break here. Maybe go get some fresh tires and try to get a couple of those spots back here during stage number 2 before we set up for that final green flag or long green flag run with stage number 3. The Wesley Phillips not giving up on this battle just yet either. Again, phenomenal qualifying effort for Wesley here tonight. I believe this is his first start as some contact there between Stevens and Phillips. Close call. Zach Stevens, who's going to actually lose a spot there, but he'll be able to stay in front of the 12 of Michael Lawrence. Brody Venti just in front of them back in 15th. It's Justin Parham, who another driver that right now a little bit surprised not to see a better run out of the 19. Now the qualifying effort not showing all the speed that he's got, at least so far tonight, because again, qualified back in 23rd. And he's already up 8 positions in 15th. He's got Kevin Winker just behind him, who's also making pretty good moves through the field. He's up 9 from where he started. Nick Wood back in 17th. Aiden Lund, another one of the rookies this season. We're expecting a lot of progress out of by the time we reach the championship race, and don't be surprised to see him make it pretty far through the playoffs, and you never know, maybe make it to the championship. I believe that Aiden did come over from the Gears Cup Series, and we know the stable of drivers that those guys have over there, so Aiden's certainly looking to see if he can make his mark this season in the NOMA Truck Series. A little bit different field, a little bit of a different style of racing at that, and gets really tight. Him and Woodby bang doors off of 2. The 32 is going to pull low, and now he'll lose that spot to Woodby along with maybe the 55 of Ryan Gomes. Back up front though, now Redinger slowly but surely starting to get just a little bit of breathing room over Jay Stinson, as now he's got the gap up to about 0.3 of a second, equivalent to about 3 truck lengths as he's trying to work back up top. Jay Stinson trying the opposite as he stays on the bottom. And Redinger at this point, I think with the clean air, knows that he can pull up top for the next 3 laps. Actually going to be the next 2 laps here when we cross the line. And even if the tires start to wear out, Jay starts to catch him. Just don't think there's going to be enough time to actually get there. And even if he gets there, making the pass, it's a whole different story. 16 to Justin Bentley, taking a look to the inside here of David Traylor as they get 2 laps to go in the stage when they cross the stripe that time. These two closing up on Mark Beverly, but the harder they race, the harder it's going to be to get that 97 machine. And these two still side by side, the 46 of Wesley Phillips and the 3 of Joey Hickox. Joey with a run off of 2. This time, yes, he will get clear. So they'll single file out for that final position inside the top 10. And up front, Redinger going to be coming to the white flag here in stage 1. And looking like that gap now all up to almost half a second over Jay Stinson. So as it stands right now, Grandstand Racing looking to take stage 1. Venom Racing would bring home 2nd. And then Russ Kilgore, by the way, who's an independent driver, that makes the run that much more impressive here tonight. No teammates to work with or practice with or really get any tips from. But when Russ got that win last season in the All-Star race, you knew next time we came here, whether it was New Atlanta or Old Atlanta, he was going to have a lot of speed, and boy, is he showing that early. Final time through 3 and 4. In stage number 1, Redinger looks nice and smooth, as he did all the way through the stage. Had to defend off a couple moves from Jay Stinson, Joey Hickox, but he's going to make it work. Redinger gets the stage win. Stinson brings home 2nd, Kilgore 3rd, and they all file in line behind. Looks like Keith Prince and Mark Beverly rounded out your top 5 there for stage 1. So now it's going to be time to go and get some tires, get some fuel, get ready for the second stage, which is going to be about 20 laps longer, 40 laps in total. We'll see if Kenneth Redinger can try to bust out the broom at the end of stage 2 if he can get the sweep. But a good start early for a driver who knows how to get it done at these mile-and-a-half racetracks, including Atlanta Motor Speedway. 27 laps complete. First caution of the night. It is for your stage 1 winner, Kenneth Redinger. Again, this is a scheduled caution, so everybody going to come in, take four tires, fill it up with fuel. And so with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll go side by side, and when we come back, we're going to see if we can get an interview with your stage 1 winner. Stick with us at Atlanta. Back live at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Flatwoods 200 Stage 1 winner, Kenneth Redinger. We got him up here in the booth. Let's see if we can get a quick word. Kenneth, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right, well, you get the Stage 1 win. You are a past champ here in the NOMA Truck Series. We know you know how to get the job done, but, man, big field so far this season. Second race in, first semi-technical track. How's the truck feeling so far, and how you feeling about the racing?
Pretty good. Didn't really know what to expect because we don't race here anymore, so I haven't done any races here since the last time we were here last season, so you just don't know what it's going to be like on tires and how hard you got to push, and there's kind of like a balance there where you don't want to lose track position, but everybody's pushing you to go faster, so it's kind of trying to find a good balance between wearing the tires out at the beginning and what you're going to have at the end.
Well, looks like you've been doing everything right up to this point. You got the Stage 1 win. We'll see if we're talking to you here again at the end of Stage 2. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
By the way, Grandstand Racing, only 2 teammates tonight. Of course, Kenneth Redinger and Justin Parham. Sam Boutwell not in the field tonight, so they're lacking in numbers a little bit, but they're going to make up for it if they continue to capture these stage points and potentially capture the win. But it's not going to be an easy one because we still have a lot of strong contenders up here inside your top 5 and inside your top 10. In fact, right now, just to the outside of Redinger is going to be Jay Stinson. We saw the run that he was also able to put together there through Stage 1. Russ Kilgore back in 3rd, Mark Beverly in 4th. Justin Bentley 5th, Keith Prince 6th, David Traylor in 7th, Clay Cantrell in 8th, Bill Hales in 9th, and Joey Hickox rounding out your top 10. By the way, Joey going to be looking to see if he can make up some positions here. Because remember, he did not plan on losing all that track position, of course, but truck just wasn't really working the way he wanted it to. So we'll see if he decides to maybe go out on a limb here and try to be extra aggressive, get the track position, and then hope for either a caution or hope to maintain majority of that track position for the rest of Stage 2. So we're going to go back green right here with 31 laps complete, and that's going to make it exactly 35 laps to go for stage number 2. Kenneth Redinger with a great jump right out of the gate. He's going to pull away to about a 2, make it a 4 truck length lead as they work through 1 and 2. Russ Kilgore, he will get the advantage over Jay Stinson, as maybe does Mark Beverly. Wow, how about that? 2 trucks get clear. Beverly thought better of it, jumped down. Now he's able to jump back up. So Stinson trapped on the outside, should be able to get rolling here in 3 and 4. Now that these trucks are up to speed. Ooh, heard some contact with the wall further back, but I think everybody was able to keep it together. So we take a look at the blimp cam. See, all the action right now is up front and towards the back. The middle, actually pretty tame. Not often you hear us saying that. But Kenneth Redinger feeling really, really good right now with all the clean air he's got and seeing these guys battle behind him. And remember, the harder they battle, the harder it's going to be for them to catch up. Cold tires didn't seem to be an issue off of this restart. Again, I thought we maybe heard a little contact in the wall on the last lap, but besides that, doesn't look like anybody's had any trouble spinning out. Everybody's still getting tires up to temp though before you can fully push it to its limit. But right now, Stinson still hanging really tough on the outside here of Mark Beverly in the 97. Now the 16 of Justin Bentley is going to try to follow the 31 as he was able to get that position back from Mark, who got it from him off the restart. And now as the front starts to single file out, we turn our attention towards the middle and back portions of the field where Zach Stevens is going at it right now with the Grandstand Racing driver, veteran if you will, Justin Parham. Just behind him the 46 rather, of Wesley Phillips, the 53 of Bill Hales, Kevin Winker. And on their outside, actually, someone who we haven't talked about too much here tonight so far, Clinton Woodby in the 92. Boy, he is due for a win in the trucks in some form. We see him in the Asphalt Outlaw Racing Truck Series. We've seen how close he's come, how many times he's come that close over there. So again, I think it's just going to be a matter of time before he gets one done this season here in the NOMA Truck Series. Maybe looking to see if he can have a back-to-back week, get one in the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series, and then in the NOMA Truck Series. I'll tell you what, the reason you hear us mention both of those two series together is because they honestly work together in a good way. I mean, a lot of the NOMA drivers we see over there in the AOR series, and then a lot of the AOR drivers we're seeing now this season over here in the NOMA series. Good to see the relationship there panning out very well, just as the racing is so far here tonight. And Atlanta has actually provided a lot better racing than I was expecting coming in tonight. I mean, I know we're only 35 laps complete, and so not even a third of the way through this race just yet, but I mean, we're seeing a lot of passing, even on tires that are more than 15 laps old. Usually by that point, that's where the draft starts to deteriorate and the guy with clean air starts to run away with it, but that's not been the case so far, as Joey Hickox will take that position right there away from Justin Bentley as he slides up off of turn number 2. And so a big single file draft now as you see the 97 of Beverly is going to try to catch up to the tail of Jay Stinson, where the top three have a little bit of a breakaway right now. Not much. About 0.3 of a second. Make it 0.4 of a second as they cross the stripe. And everybody playing the patience scheme right now. And that makes sense because, again, this runs a little bit longer. Now looking at fuel mileage on if they can make it, I'm not 100% sure if they can quite make it all the way. I'm thinking, if we were in the Cup cars here right now, I think the general fuel mileage would probably be somewhere right around 45 laps would be the distance they can make on 75% fuel. Now the trucks hold less fuel, honestly quite a significant amount less fuel than the Cup cars, so I would say it's going to be close. I think they're going to be able to make it, but certainly going to be right on the edge if you have to make a green flag stop in this stage or not. Battle for the lead. Russ Kilgore to the inside of Kenneth Redinger. Just find them. Jay Stinson. Does he take a shot here at 3 wide at all if either of these guys slip up, or does he stay behind one of them and try to see if he can push somebody out in front? I tell you what I always like doing here in a situation like this. If I'm Jay Stinson, I'm going to try to help whichever guy is fading. So in this case, I'm going to try to help Russ Kilgore. Keep him side by side as long as you can with Redinger. Let both of them burn their stuff up through the corners racing while you sit back and just do a little pushing. But Jay says, no thank you. I'll jump to the outside here, pick up yet another position on the restart, and that moves him back up into second. Still a great looking run tonight as there you see the Rhino linings of Bristol. Paint scheme on the side, or sponsor on the side rather, for the new paint scheme. Allstate as well, who I heard is part of NOMA this season. Great to see all the sponsors that are coming on board to let these guys do what they enjoy most. Further back, Keith Prince, Clay Cantrell, bumper to bumper with the 16 of Justin Bentley, David Traylor just behind them. And so all this aggressive racing that we are seeing sparked again from that stage break caution, which gave everybody a chance to get fresh tires filled up with fuel. So far, so good. Further back in the pack here, the 42 of Kevin Winker. We saw him make that charge through stage 1. Still picking up a couple positions, but definitely not making progress quite as fast as he did through the first 25 laps. So he's going to try to settle in here. A little bit of a pace. Michael Lawrence just behind him in the 12 machine as we look out the gearbox. You see as you go even more positions back, Randy Bonomi. Looks like this is actually the backpack, I believe. And if we look at the track map, yeah, sure enough, we got a couple stragglers all the way towards the back. Looks like right now on 27th and 28th. I believe that's Dylan Paws and Chase Greer. Yeah, sure enough, not sure what happened to them. And by the way, Sam Boutwell did register for the race tonight. Update on that. Looks like some sort of technical issue, though, is the reason he is not actually in here at the moment. And so leading this pack, as it stands, at least right now, is Corey Buskirk, making his first start on the night for 4Wide Racing, or first start of the season tonight, rather, for 4Wide Racing. He's got a couple teammates in the field. Randy Bonomi in the 66 for MNT Motorsports, second in this group. Ryan Gomes in the 55 for Trackside Motorsports. Nick Wood, one of the new teams this season, Blazing Bandits. And one of his teammates, I believe, is Aiden Lunn. Watch for those two to be working good together at any of the plate tracks we had to this season. Another one of the Trackside Motorsport drivers, it's Riley Gomes. Lonnie Morrison for 4X Racing. Wiley Cantrell for MNT Motorsports. Derek Catt. And then Bill Hales, who talked about your Daytona winner, struggling right now, back in 26th. And now the good news is, of course, with that win that he got last week, we talked about all the pressure it takes off. He's not quite as forced to perform here each and every race. Now that he's got that big cushion from the win that he got in the season opener at Daytona, but still certainly want to try to keep momentum through the season, try to get some of these good runs stacked up and help yourself as you make, of course, the berth into the playoffs, which he is probably going to be able to lock up as long as he gets a couple more decent runs. Just in front of him there was a close call right there. Like Derek Catt and the 13 just behind these two. And he is sitting exactly where he qualified right now in 26th. Up front, again, still not quite as racy so far through stage 2 as it was in stage number 1. Let's hop on board here with Jay Stinson, see if it sounds like there might be any sort of fuel saving, or if this is just all that he's able to really do right now with, of course, Redinger learning some things there through stage 1. And, I mean, that right there tells you all you need to know. Running the same line through the corner, it's not going to work for too long. You hear Jay scrubbing that right front tire really hard, as all Redinger's got to do is take away his line, put some dirty air on the nose with the 31. That Chevy Silverado no longer turns quite as nice as it would in clean air with a lot more front downforce. So as they cross the stripe this time, it'll be 46 laps complete. That's going to put us at exactly 20 laps to go now in stage number 2. We are now shorter than the distance by 5 laps than we ran in stage 1. But again, still a little bit right on the fence for if these guys are going to have to pit or not. Based off the pace that we're seeing right now, at least in terms of lap times, I'm not sure that we're going to necessarily see a pit stop. Everybody running extraordinarily fast, at least for the moment. But right now up front, at least over the course of the last couple laps, it looks like, excuse me, I had the wrong graphic up. I meant to say up front over the last couple laps. It's actually been Kenneth Redinger just over the last 2 laps who has ran faster than Jay Stinson. The 3 prior to that, Stinson was just a little bit faster. But we might be starting to hit that point in the run here, as we're not quite farther than the distance we went yet in stage 1, but we are going to get there and cross that mark during stage number 2, where the tires start to fall off. The draft starts to not be quite as effective, as you just can't run the corner speed that you have on fresh tires anymore. But this is pulling Russ Kilgore now back up into the mix in that 4 truck. Just behind him still is the 97 of Mark Beverly. Joey Hickox rounding out your top 5. Clay Cantrell in 6th, 2x2 between Justin Bentley and Stevens. Zach Stevens is going to take all the way up top, ripping the wall, and you see that second seam kind of showing that there is 3 lanes here. Of course, the bottom, then right in between the 2 seams, and then just above that seam. And most guys, at least coming into the race, I thought we're either going to be wrapping the white line or running above that second seam. But, I mean, we've seen a little bit of everything. Guys have been rolling on the bottom, as did Bentley. Oh, Joey Hickox with a big slide there. I think he was trying to pit, but he blew it. Joey Hickox goes around here, coming into the pits. Oh, no, big trouble for Venom Racing. He finally is able to come to a stop, but that cost him all sorts of time, and that may even be a penalty, as I think I see some damage as well to the back of that 3 truck. Boy, that was a disastrous stop. Yeah, the right rear is pretty banged up for Joey Hickox. Makes me think he had to have gotten some help here. Question is, who is it from, and how bad was it? There's his teammate Jay Stinson already in, taking 4 tires and fuel. So the 31 will quickly roll back out and hope that there's no caution until all these pit stops cycle through. But let's indeed go back here and see exactly what happens to Joey Hickox. So coming into the pits here, still really tricky again, especially as tires are worn out. You're trying to get the truck turned down the banking, and then of course onto the apron. And let's see here. So he's still trying to get it slowed down. So, oh my goodness, Clay Cantrell comes flying in there and just clips the right rear bumper of Joey Hickox. And then, not sure if that played the complete role here, if Joey was already a little bit loose on the transition, and then that was kind of the finishing blow, but it gets him sideways here. He's trying everything he can to save it, but eventually it just comes around. There's a 90-degree slide. Stays inside the commitment cone, so and may have got lucky, maybe didn't give him a penalty. We'll have to find out here in just a moment, as didn't mean to go back that far. Back live here and go back the old-fashioned way here. I want to see one more view, but from the onboard of Clay Cantrell, who, like I said, I mean, he came flying in there. I'm not sure if he just didn't know. I got to assume that he just didn't realize that Joey was pitting, but boy, that cost Joey a lot of time and, of course, some damage, and now puts him in a spot where he's probably going to need a caution if he wants any sort of a chance. But here's one more final look at it here as we go back that 1 extra lap. So watch the onboard for Clay Cantrell here and listen to the throttle. Oh, man, yeah, I mean, he does see it. And it looked like from his view there, he didn't hit him, but I think there was just slight contact when you're running that fast. Damage still certainly registered. Doesn't look like it registered on the right front for the 88, though. He seems to be fine and is able to continue on. Kenneth Redinger and the 24 currently still sitting as your leader. Waiting to see when his pit stop will come to stages. And, of course, I think it makes sense that when we saw the pit stops right there from guys who weren't even in the lead, got to think it all but confirms the idea that we are going to see green flag stops from pretty much everybody, but it does open the door for a little bit of strategy play on some of the guys that pit really early right there, such as Jay Stinson, or some of the guys that are maybe going to try to run this thing out a bit further, like Kenneth Redinger. So Redinger is the leader, Russ Kilgore second, Mark Beverly third, Clay Cantrell up 9 from where he started in 4th, and Keith Prince rounding out the top 5. Wesley Phillips 6th, Justin Parham in 7th, Kevin Winker in 8th, David Traylor in 9th, and Clinton Woodby rounding out your top 10. The 12 there, Michael Lawrence is going to slot a line as he gets to, or falls to 11th, make that a spot gain there. Brody Benty, though, on the bad end of the stick, to the bad end of the receiving right there, as he's now down 4 positions from where he started tonight. Clay Cantrell, though, bringing it to the pits here. Looks like he's going to get in clean, and a couple other takers. No, it's just going to be one. besides Cantrell. That's your leader. Kenneth Redinger brings it down to the pits with 11 laps to go here in stage number 2. And now this is where things get really interesting. Where does Jay Stinson, merge? Comparison to Kenneth Redinger, you see right now as he ducks to the inside. Going into turn 3 of the 92 of Clinton Woodby. He's going to get around Winker here as well, showing you the difference of fresh tires. Does he get around Kenneth Redinger? And if he does he get far enough around here where he's going to be able to stay in front for what's going to be now the next 10 laps before stage will be over? So there you go. Redinger still getting up to speed, and looks like Jay is going to be able to get out by a pretty healthy lead right here. In fact, still trying to find a gap here. I mean, it's a really, really big gap. Almost 3 seconds is going to be the distance between the 24 and the 31. Once he's back up to speed, make it a little bit more than that, almost 4 seconds. So Redinger is definitely going to have his hands full, especially as he's got 3 wide traffic in front of him. Ryan Gomes, Corey Buskirk, Zach Stevens, nobody giving an inch. Randy Bonomi as well. He is seeing all this saying, guys, please let me go. I've got fresh tires. I want to use them. And show you the lap time difference here as Redinger is still trapped. He's just got nowhere to go, but what a move. Oh, no, contact. Huge hit out back for the 55 of Ryan Gomes. He got together with Bonomi out of 2. The 66 goes up, or the 55 rather, goes up into the outside wall. It brings us under our first non-stage caution of the night. Ryan Gomes with heavy front end damage, especially on the right side of the Chevy emblem there. So he's going to bring this down to the pits. He's not even going to go around, and he'll just take his EOL here and try to get this thing fixed up as much as possible. You might even heard it ticking there. Certainly going to be a fast pair, I would have to assume. We'll know when he pulls into his pit box right here, but now this is going to pull anybody that hasn't pit yet down to the pits to take 4 tires, fill it up with fuel, and could throw another wrench into the strategy. As there you see the 55 using the fast pair. So that giant, I don't even want to call it a dent, but that giant, or the heavy damage rather, that he had on the front end, all of a sudden pops right back out. So he'll go catch the lead pack. No harm, no foul there. But fortunately, if he gets involved in another incident at this point, he would not have that fast pair anymore to bail him out. So let's go back and take a look here. I mean, we had pretty much 2 different things happen in one here. The first was the move by Kenneth Redinger. I mean, this was absolutely brilliant. The 24 knows he's getting held up here, and he knows he's got to make something happen. You see there he's getting a little bit of a pull off the 66 of Bonomi. Has fresh tires, so he's able to make a move like this work. But, I mean, you still see the marbles up top there just by the outside safer barrier. He's able to stay just below him, rips the wall off of 2 without getting into it. And he's able to get clear of both of these guys, and actually is able to ultimately get clear just in front of the wreck. As you saw there, it just looks like the 55, at least from my point of view, was just getting tight and just kind of slid up there, and they ran out of room. We'll go to the chopper view and play this slow for you. Watch 55 there. He does have Corey Buskirk in front of him, and that's definitely going to be creating a little bit of dirty errors. Saw Corey was getting really, really loose right there. But then once he does slide up, gets into Bonomi, nothing Randy can do, and it turns the 55, I mean, hard into the outside wall. You saw initially the suspension there on the right front break, the hood fly off. A couple other parts and pieces flying off as Bill Hales, looks like, was ultimately able to slide through. There's Riley Gomes as well in the 9 truck. No further incident for him. Take 2 more looks at this here. First from the spectator view. Bill Hales, I don't believe, got that much damage despite sliding. And I want to take one more onboard view here from Ryan Gomes himself. Let's see if this truck just gets a little bit tight. That's exactly what it is. I mean, you hear him burping the throttle. This is just, unfortunately, though, not quite enough. And then Bill Hales in the back sees it, and he's trying to figure out a way to get low, but the back end just rotates. He goes around, and somehow everybody does a Houdini act right here to miss getting involved any further. This piece of driving there by pretty much anybody that missed that wreck, including Bill Hales, who, again, I think minimized any damage that he got there. So as we go back live, 60 laps now complete. 5 laps away from being halfway through the Flatwoods 200 here at Atlanta. Mark Beverly currently being scored as your leader. And again, some strategy was played here during this caution. Wesley Phillips second, Clinton Woodby third, Brody Benty fourth, David Traylor in fifth, Aiden Lunn in sixth, Bill Hale seventh, Nick Wood eighth, Dylan Paws in ninth, and Chase Greer rounding out your top 10. So, going to get a restart here, it looks like, as the lights are still on. with probably 62 laps complete. And so that'll put us at 4 laps to go for the completion of stage number 2. So we'll see if anybody tries to make any sort of moves back there that's on fresher tires, or if these front 5, 6, 7, actually, in fact, looks like guys that are still playing some strategy, maybe mixed in towards the middle and back of the pack. So we'll leave that open for now, that conversation, if you will, but getting ready to see some really good racing between your front pack. That is for sure. I want to give a quick shout out to anybody tuning in here tonight. I hope you are all having a fantastic Saturday night on the East Coast. Don't forget to set your clocks forward tomorrow, no matter what part of the country you live in. Spring forward time. Excited to see it not be dark at 5 o'clock anymore. Nancy Hickok says, hey, Austin, ready for a good race tonight? Absolutely. Good to see you in here, Nancy. Raymond as well. Of course, Manny Rays, the title sponsor for the NOMA Truck Series. Appreciate everything that they do, of course, for the series in of itself and for all the drivers. So Raymond out here watching tonight. A couple others. Mikey Eden. Good to see you out here, Mikey. He says, hi, GRN. Again, if you're new to Ghost here, just checking out the NOMA guys and you like what you see, nothing else, make sure you let us know in the chat that you enjoyed it. Lets us know that we're doing at least something right up here. Man, what a showing that these guys are putting on here tonight. I mean, 2 cautions through 60 laps at a track like Atlanta is nothing to scowl at, if you will. I mean, everybody is doing a really, really good job of keeping it clean. But this is a big opportunity right here for Wesley Phillips if he can find a way to get around this 97 and capture the stage 2 win. Oh, green flag. I heard trouble out back. Big trouble out back. We got guys going through the grass. Now one's going to spin. This could bring the caution right back out. Yeah, sure enough, that's exactly what it's going to do. I believe that was Corey Buskirk who went for a detour before crossing the checkered flag. Ooh, more contact up here. Derek Catt in the 13. He ends up 90 degrees sideways, perpendicular, and facing the fans. It's the 42 of Kevin Winker as well. Man, oh man, what happened here? 3 separate incidents, all leading to the one caution that's now probably going to bring us to the end of the stage. So we'll have to get official wording on that. But man, that's definitely a tough break for anybody that was hoping to go up there and try to grab some stage points. Again, this looks like it will end stage number 2 under caution. Well, let's go back and see exactly where this whole mess starts. It starts further back, but somebody missed a shift or something went wrong because we heard somebody actually get into the wall. I believe it might actually start there with the 8 of Chase Greer. You saw right there riding just behind the 02 machine of Nick Wood. So I'm looking for Chase here. Does he just go to the chopper view here? Play it slow for you. Fire out of the pipes. This is as they're working up to the Geico restart zone. Oh my goodness. Dylan Pause with a major, major issue there. That truck shoots just about 90 degrees to the right on him here. And he goes right into the path of Chase Greer. I mean, nothing that Chase could do right there. Certainly wasn't expecting that. That causes a stack up out back. You see the 12 get together with Corey Buskirk. They're all going to go for a couple of harmless spins. And then the incidents up front, it caused even more trouble. Wow, that was a hard hit for Kevin Winker. As you saw Derek Catt spin around further out back. We have to go look at this second incident here involving Kevin Winker and what he could see. So there's the first trouble. But he's able to get going, misses that first incident here, and then some more contact between, looked like the 02 and the 32. Aiden Lund involved in that, and 32 gets hooked together, and Winker and Lund go hard into the outside safer barrier coming off of 2, and then, man, everybody piles in there with nowhere to go. Justin Parman, was that Kenneth Redinger? It was. That could be major implications, again, for a lot of the big hitters we had here tonight, especially with now that they know they're not going to be able to get stage 2 points, even with trying some strategy. So 64 of 150 or 130 laps complete. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have official word along with an interview with your stage 2 winner. Stick with us at Atlanta. Back live at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Flatwoods 200 for the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays. Stage 1 winner. Official word goes to Mark Beverly in the 97. Unfortunately, due to a little bit of maybe a later call and the stage break being declared official there, he did miss pit road, shuffle into the back. But real quick before we go green, Mark, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Austin. What's up?
Well, you capture the stage 2 win. You lose track position, but overall, some extra points can never hurt at a track like Atlanta.
Yeah, just going to focus on trying to go forward here, save some tire, and the extra 10 points will help me out just in case something happens here. So looking forward to it. It's a fun track.
Well, a lot longer run. Do you save tire here?
Absolutely. This is a tire reader, so you got to save some tire.
All right. Well, appreciate you giving us a couple quick words. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And there you go. Mark Beverly, we caught him just a little bit late, but his green flag is back in the air. Again, with that official stage winner, not only is that a different stage winner than what we were maybe expecting there when we got the restart, in terms of thinking it was going to be a chaos-filled last couple of laps, but also that has really shuffled the field. How about Russ Kilgore up front? First time now leading here on the night, and he's got a chance to maybe try to stretch this thing out a little bit now that we're in the final stage. Looking at the amount of laps these guys still need to run. When they hit 70, that'll be 60 laps to go, so still right around 20 to 30 laps longer at least. And it's going to be right around 30 laps longer actually than any other run they've had here tonight. As wow, we had a couple of close calls right there coming through the quad oval, as now 3 wide into turn 1. Clinton Woodby in the middle trying to make it stick, trying to slide up just in front of Brody Benty. Couldn't do it, but now he will be able to do it off of turn number 2. Further back, another gaggle of trucks trying to all sort it out for position. The 0-2 of Nick Wood on the inside there of Bill Hales. Randy Bonomi maybe thought about 3 wide, but that hole quickly closed up. Further back, Parham is rolling on the bottom right now of the 19 truck. Up top, Kevin Winker, contact. They're going to wreck again now. Heavy hit into the quad oval there for Kevin Winker. And the 42 is destroyed. I believe he already had to use his fast spare as well on the night. This is going to end Kevin Winker's night in a big way. I think Zach Stevens may have been the other truck involved, as you saw pretty heavy damage to the front of his Chevy Silverado as well. This driver out of Slinger, Wisconsin will not have a chance to build on a good run last week here tonight. As again, I believe this is going to probably end his race. And you saw 3 wide. There was just so many different runs, so many different things going on. Eventually, you knew something had to give. And it finally did with the 42 of Winker getting caught up. Let's go back, take a look. Actually, it was the 7, so initially I thought it was Zach Stevens, who may have had a piece of this, but certainly wasn't in the initial wreck itself. By the way, the 7 is Wiley Cantrell Jr. We'll go to the chopper view for starters here. Play it nice and slow, as they just run out of room. I mean, everybody's racing so tight. Everybody's going for a position. And you see Winker, he rolls the top really well. He's got to run. The 7 of Cantrell, I think, is just getting a little bit tight there, being stuck in the middle of 3 wide. He's got trucks in front of him, a lot of dirty air. And once he slides up, I mean, Winker's there. The contact's made. And once they get together, wow, that second hit was brutal. And that's the one that really did the damage for both of these trucks. Saw Stevens look like sneak by for the most part there on the bottom. So I'll have to find out where he gets all of his damage at. Might have been Jay Stinson, actually, that we saw sneak by. But that's a really, really vicious hit right there. And just, again, nothing that anybody can do there. I mean, everybody's just racing hard for it. Trying to make it through the wreck. Is there you see Stevens. He missed Hickox. So no contact there. I'm not really sure where this contact happened for Zach Stevens, unless it was with Corey Buskirk. Being my only other thought, but doesn't look like it. And he misses Joey rather, so nice job by Stevens there, but I mean, a racing incident is at most what we can really call it here. We'll take another view though from the 7 here of Wiley Cantrell and show you just how it's so tight when you're in these trucks. And you know, from the broadcast perspective, we get to see a lot more room in between the trucks than they're able to see from the cockpit view. And for Wiley here, I mean, you see it looks pretty tight. He's got a truck on his inside. Maybe thought he was clear, but I think more than anything, he was just starting to get tight. And then Kevin Winker's there. He's got a brilliant run. He's trying to make use of it. And unfortunately, that's just a really, really tough break, especially, of course, for Kevin Winker, who we believe may not have a chance to return to the track here tonight with the damage he sustained there if he already had to use his fast front. It looks like he did, because that truck's still sitting on the pits and it is still missing the entire front end. So any Kevin Winker fans, unfortunate news, but I like the way his cards are going to be dealt here tonight. Looking to get the 1-to-go signal as they cross the stripe. This time it is now 71 laps complete. We are officially 5 laps Make it actually 6 laps now. 7, excuse me. I cannot do simple math tonight. Over halfway. So this race, not quite in the winding down stages just yet, but certainly time to start getting that track position, especially if we start getting on a roll here with some cautions. And we know that cautions tend to breed caution, so certainly wasn't the first one and certainly may not be the last either. Raymond Daniels Sr. says, Austin, good job on the broadcasting tonight from Manny Rays. Certainly appreciate it, Raymond. Glad to see you out here tonight. Again, if you're just tuning in, you are watching the Flatwoods 200 for the Manny Rays NOMA Truck Series here live on Ghost Racing Network. Second race of the season after Daytona last week, which if you missed out, it was a good one. I encourage you to go back, take a look at the finish where Bill Hales got the job done. The only thing that was unfortunate that we didn't get last week, which is good to have back this week, is the overlays. Of course, with the scoring tower, easy camera changes, didn't have that last week. So if you were wondering what in the world was the difference, that is exactly what it was. So good to be back again with that here tonight. And getting ready to see a really good 58 laps of racing. Actually going to be less than that as we did not get the one-to-go signal that time. These guys will pace around yet again as it's Riley Gomes now in the front of the field. And so as they do continue to pace around here, I want to go see if we can get a word with one of the guys that maybe not quite all the way inside the top 3, but certainly having a great run here tonight if we can find him. Sure enough, there he is, Nick Wood. Let's see if we can bring him up here for a quick word. Hey, Nick, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
I have a copy. How's it going, bud?
Good. Well, boy, what a run you've got going here tonight. Still a rookie in the series, but you start out with a bang here through the first couple races, but focusing on tonight, I mean, you got yourself up inside the top 10. It's going to still be just under 60 laps to go. How you feeling about your chances to continue to move up and maybe see if you can't break into the top 5 here before the night's over?
Yeah, definitely trying to stay in the top 5. Just got to manage the tires right and pit at the right time. Hopefully it stays green and see what happens on a green flag pit stop, you know?
Well, speaking of the green flag pit stop, a little curious here from people watching at home. Are you good to go here on 1 stop, or is it still going to be 2?
Definitely 1 stop.
All right, well, we certainly appreciate the insight, and you've had a great run up to this point, man. Keep it up, and we'll see if we're talking to you in victory lane at the end of this thing.
I hope so, man. Have a good night. Appreciate it.
All right. There you go, and of course Nick, one of the rookies in the series, Blazing Bandits driver, but was trying to put him back to his team there. Joked a lot about it last season. Always the hardest part is getting the guys back to their rightful teams before we get to the restart here. But green flag back in the air, good restart for the first couple as Riley Gomes is able to pull away, get clear by plenty. Clinton Woodby is going to follow in his tracks as he gets clear of Ryan Gomes. Further back, looks like Keith Prince is going to try to put a move on the leaders here himself. Now the 63 Brody Benty drops up for a side draft. We got one in the wall out back. It's Justin Parham. Zach Stevens as well is slow. Looks like they save it. Stevens is still very slow, trying to get that truck back up to pace. Parham, this may be enough damage where he's got to pull it down to the pits here and hope for a caution. He's going to do just that. No choice. Man, it's just all bottlenecked up right there off of turn 2. And the 19 was on the bad end of the spectrum. Here we go. Let's see, does he get some help here? I would almost think he probably does. Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what he gets from Zach Stevens. Coming off of 2. Oh, I think Parham's maybe just getting tight. That's what it seems like there, but Stevens just not quite able to check up in time. Maybe, I'm not sure if he was trying to split the middle. I'm not sure what happened there, but there's contact, and yeah, it sends Parham pretty hard into the outside wall. I don't think Justin's going to be too happy with that once he gets his damage repaired and goes back out. He may not be too friendly to Zach Stevens the rest of the way, but now the race for the lead is on. Riley Gomes versus Clinton Woodby. Keith Prince, Ryan Gomes bringing themselves into the mix as well as now Keith Prince. He's going to jump to the inside of the 92. We're got the back. We got one wrecking out back. I think it's Dylan Pauls who goes around hard into the inside concrete wall. As the 99 caution is back out. He gets back rolling. Damage not as bad as it looked like it was initially going to be when he got turned around. I'm trying to find where all the damage occurred here on the 99. Looks like he's going to have a little bit there on the rear, maybe a little bit on the left, especially the left rear. A little bit on the front. And the front looks pretty clean. Had a chance to speak with Dylan mid-race last week after a great run that he was having. He was working tonight. He was already up multiple positions where he started this race at. Unfortunate to see this one set him back a little bit. As Russ Kilgore, oh man, another one of the guys who was maybe initially an underdog pick coming into tonight, but you knew with how good he was at Atlanta that he was going to have a great shot. He was doing everything right, but Unfortunately, due to a caution, got himself caught back in traffic. And sometimes when you get caught in traffic, things like this can happen. So let's see exactly how this starts here for the 99 of Dylan Pause. He's running right in the middle here between Clay Cantrell and Russ Kilgore. As they get off the 2, everything seems okay. Ooh, Cantrell gets into the outside wall. That's what happens. The 88 black and red scheme just barely is going to tap the concrete barrier here. I mean, they were already on the straightaway, so not really sure what caused Clay to get into it there. If he just thought that maybe things were squeezing down a little bit more than he would have liked and was trying to give a little bit extra room. But you're going to see here that when he hits this wall, it kind of wants to suck you in as a driver. You got to turn the wheel left, and when you do, eventually it bounces you off. That's what happens there. His left rear tags Dylan Pause in the right front fender, and then that sends him down. Russ Kilgore, of course, with nowhere to go. Then they're both going to hit the inside wall here. Pretty hard shot to the right side right there of Dylan Pause. That's where he's going to sustain most of his damage. Let's take a couple more views. That was the first one there that caught my eye when this first happened. There's the front looking. I mean, that inside wall comes up so quick here when you get turned to the left that there's really not much you can do. And all in all, Dylan did a pretty good job of quickly getting on the brakes, locking it down, and minimizing the damage, but it's still going to cost him a bunch of track position. Definitely some optional repair and potentially a fast repair depending on if he wants to use one. Take one more view here from the onboard of Dylan Pause. Right as this one starts here, watch Clay on the outside. You're going to hear it. There it is, and then so it pushes him off. Again, just nothing that Dylan Pause can do at that point. They were 3 wide, running too close to have any chance of making a move. And it didn't look like, by the way, that Russ Kilgore got necessarily too bad a damage, but I think he still probably got enough to where he will also go in and work on some repairs. As up front, it is Riley Gomes being scored as your leader. He is up 23 positions from where he started this race at. Keith Prince back in second, Clinton Woodby in third, Ryan Gomes in fourth, Brody Benty in fifth, Michael Lawrence sixth, David Traylor seventh, Derek Catt in eighth, Bill Hales in ninth, and Nick Wood rounding out your top 10. So it's going to be 80 laps now complete when they cross the stripe. That'll put us at 51 laps to go. Probably going to go green with 50 to go from the general look of it. So while we have a chance, let's go see where Ghost Racing's head next and then how points and schedule are looking, of course, for the NOMA Truck Series. All right, well, just after this tonight, how about the Little Dog Big Dog Championship? Money Racing, if you're not into it, still make sure you check this one out. It's going to be an exciting one. Race set to go green. I know it says March 9th at 11:40, but the race is probably going to go green a little bit after that because, of course, we're finishing up here before we head over there. But it's going to be a fun one over at McCullough Motorsports Money Racing. So make sure that you check that out if you got time. And, of course, the NOMA Truck Series is going to be back next Saturday. And the next place that we head has got to be the question on everybody's minds. We've already went to a super speedway. We've already went to 1.5 miles. We don't differ too much from those two tracks in general, at least for the Truck Series. These guys, I believe, tried a short track back in the first season I was broadcasting. It did not go well. It was at Bristol. So they said never again are we going to try that. Instead, they stick to the bigger tracks, and it seems like it's been working out pretty good so far. Certainly makes the racing that much more entertaining. So without further ado, next week we head to Auto Club. And so a 2-mile D-shaped oval right in between 1.5 miles and 2.5 miles. That is another track that is phenomenal for racing. 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide. You can really fan them out in Hollywood, California. So we'll see who can get the job done there. Followed up by that is going to be Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard. Another one of those big ovals. It's got a lot of history and a lot of guys really want to win at. Michigan followed by Talladega, Darlington, Pocono, Kentucky, and Charlotte. Going to be the remaining races to round out the regular season. The All-Star race is at New Atlanta. With that knowledge, it's going to round out what we talked about, at least for the schedule tonight. We'll talk more about it in the coming weeks. Next up, we'll talk about points, but before then, we get ready and gear ourselves up for a restart. Riley Gomes, Keith Prince, getting ready to go back green as the pace truck will make the hard left turn. I believe the sixth time in total tonight. As green flag is back in the air. 50 laps to go at Atlanta. Riley with a good start, but what you started to see right there is some of the guys starting to struggle with tire spin now. 6 tire sets is a lot, but it's technically you got 5 sitting in the pits, and I'm starting to wonder if some of these guys are starting to run out now as the cautions have started to pile up here towards the latter portions of this race. And now we're going to see a move to the inside here. Clinton Woodby tried to throw a block on Keith Prince. Prince went a lane lower as they went into turn number 3. Keith Prince going to try to get clear, see if he can slide up in front of the 92. Nothing doing. He's actually going to try to kill two birds with one stone right here as he jumps to the inside of the 9. Woodby thinking about 3 wide. No move just yet. And working through the quad oval. Does Woodby drop low? Sure enough, he does. Keith Prince looking to take the lead for the first time here tonight. But Riley Gomes fighting back hard on the outside, trying to see if he can carry enough momentum to get back to the left rear, the right rear rather, of Keith Prince. He was able to do so, so he drags him back down the back straightaway, gets side by side into 3 yet again. 3 wide even further back for just a moment, but they get back down to 2 by 2. Keith Prince, oh man, Riley Gomes slots back down in line. So I was going to say Keith Prince was finally able to get clear. Woodby had a little bit of a slip up there that cost him some momentum. He fell a spot, maybe 2 here, as Ryan Gomes will take a peek to the outside. And then further back, the battle right now between the 46 and the 53. That's Bill Hales and Wesley Phillips. Just behind them, Aiden Lund, now up 9 positions from where he started this race at. He is almost up inside the top 10 now. He's starting to get it together. Boy, he's putting together a really good run late if he can hold on the rest of the way. The 32. Clear of the 31 of Jay Stinson, but again, another little slip up right there for these drivers. I mean, we're just seeing a lot of it in this case. I know it was the 32, but seems like everybody's trying to push it harder and harder here each restart. You can tell that some of them are starting to find the limit as these trucks are starting to fade off and grip more and more as this run continues to go on. Don't forget what the weather outside was looking like. 90 degrees the starting track temp. The hottest we've seen so far today was 92. It's back down to 91, so not much variation. Not expecting it to make too much of a difference. But how about the speeds that everybody's running here at Atlanta? Clinton Woodby, 183 miles an hour in the draft as they enter turn number 1. It's going to be 86 laps when they cross the line next time. So Woodby, again, just sitting in the draft. He's been kind of dancing around the top 5, or rather, he's been sitting in the top 5, dancing around the top 3 over the last couple restarts. But he's trying to figure something else out here, trying to find just a little bit more here to go track down your leaders. The 63 of Brody Benty now looking to bring himself up into the fight, up into the mixes. He's looking to jump into the podium position here. Currently in 3rd, but looking to pick up 2nd as he was able to get around Clinton Woodby. Michael Lawrence in 5th, David Trailer in 6th. Randy Bonomi 7th, Ryan Gomes back in 8th, Wesley Phillips in 9th, Mark Beverly rounding out your top 10, Derek Catt 11th, Jay Stinson 12th, Russ Kilgore 13th. Aiden Lund has fallen a few spots since we last checked in. Now back to 14th. Bill Hales in the 53 on the inside of the 02. He is in 16th. Corey Buskirk in 17th. Clay Cantrell back in 18th. And everybody hanging right around the top 20, still battling hard. Kenneth Redinger. I mean, you talk about a night that went from good to bad in an instant, got caught up in that one wreck, and has just not been able to recover since. I think that shows you just how hard it is to maneuver through all the traffic that is present here on a track like Atlanta. He's trying to split the middle, but he couldn't quite make it work that time. And every lane that he's honestly trying here just seems to continue to get clogged up. There's just really not anywhere to go, so he's going to need some sort of break where he's able to get a strategy call that gets him back to the front and then try to hold on from there, because clearly proven that even if you are the fastest man on the track, it is not easy to get through this lap traffic. Chase Greer back in 20th, Dylan Pauls in 21st, Joey Hickox 22nd, Justin Bentley in 23rd, Zach Stevens in 24th, Ronnie Morrison 25th, Wiley Cantrell 26th, and then Justin Parham, Kevin Winker, and Sam Boutwell have all retired from the night due to incidents. And then, of course, Sam Boutwell's not so much an incident as it was just unfortunate luck. And so up front, the 03 of Keith Prince, he's starting to stretch this thing out a little bit. He's got about half a second lead on second place. Brody Benty, now remember the draft extends all the way back to at least a second, and I think at the mile and a half, so it's maybe a little bit less than a second and a half at, of course, what we see at the super speedways. But right now, I mean, Keith Prince doing a phenomenal job. He's got clean air. He's taking full advantage of it, as we are still expecting one more pit stop. These guys are not good to make it the rest of the way, but I think that fuel window is going to open here maybe right around lap 100, just about 10 laps from now, and that's when it becomes interesting on when do you pit. And do the strategies vary between if you're the leader, if you're further back? I mean, I think if you're further back, you got to try what we saw guys like Jay Stinson doing in stage 1, and that short pit it, hope that it works out, maybe get a late caution, be able to go back down, take tires, and stay up front. Ooh, Joey Hickox, big moment further in the back there, coming off of turn 2. He almost lost it. Now 3 wide again there, back to 2. Redinger on the bottom, gave a little shove there to the rookie Aiden Lund. Top Corey Buskirk. He's going to get a push here from the 69 of Ronnie Morrison. The 3 of Joey Hickox. He drag races across the start-finish line there with Clay Cantrell. And Bill Hales will get clear of the 13 of Derek Catt as they go into turn number 1. And now it looks like Brody Benty, oh, just as I said it, he gets loose, out of shape. Save it, Brody, save it. Oh my goodness, the 63 holds on. What a job by Brody Benty. Boy, he got me really nervous there when you turn back right, especially as these trucks are on old tires. Sometimes the tires will spin out on you. These things are not meant to turn to the right. Boy, it's so easy to spin back up the track. Here's the cockpit view. I think he's just getting tight. He's trying to drive it out of the wall. And, oh, actually, that was from Clinton Woodby. I wanted to go up one more, but, boy, that was quite a view in itself. But that explains pretty much everything we need to see there. Yeah, it just gets a little bit tight. Barely clips the safer barrier. I mean, if he makes it, I don't know, a couple feet more, the safer barrier kind of fades back into the concrete wall. Therefore, I think it would have been fine. But, boy, once he got turned, I know we're showing this in slow motion first, but let's go back and show this in full real time, rather. Oh, my goodness. Heading for the inside one. Then right here, there you go. He saw it. He realized it. You saw the wheel start to go back to the left and him burp the throttle. He knew that thing was getting ready to kick back dead right. Didn't want that to happen. So, again, really nice job for Brody Benty. Unfortunately, though, it's cost him a handful of positions as he is now back, almost a couple handful, rather, as he's back to 9th. Up front, Keith Prince still leading the way, but Clinton Woodby has tracked him back down. The 92 is getting ready to see if he can set up a pass here. Going to be going into turn 1. And as good of a job as Keith Prince was doing with that clean air, I think that the reason Woodby faded back a little bit is because he was saving a little bit of tire to set up for the longer portion of this run. Right now, it might be paying off. David Traylor looking to do more of the same as now he moves up to that 3rd position. That puts David Traylor in the podium, at least for now. And one of the drivers that we had carrying an onboard camera for us earlier, looks like he still is, but right now we're going to take an actual onboard shot here. They're scrubbing the right front, but he actually sounds pretty smooth, all things considered. And the driver out of Loxley, Alabama, is now again first time in the podium position here on the night, but looking to make the most of it here for the rest of this run. Now, we keep talking about this pit stop, and there's a reason for that. It is the money stop, and you are going to need to be perfect. Any sort of slip-up on this pit stop, and your race could be over. But let's give a tip of the cap to Russ Kilgore, who we saw actually involved in that caution with Dylan Paws not too many laps ago. I thought that was going to end his chances, but he fought, stayed up here, didn't give up on it, and it is still paying off as he is in the top 5 and still looking to pick up even more positions as now he sets his sights on Wesley Phillips, who is equally, if not more impressive tonight. Another one of the rookies who is coming in and showing that he can get it done at one of the hardest mile and a half that we head to on the circuit. Still 2x2 further back as a couple more guys tag that concrete wall down the back straightaway. But up front, Woodby now ripping the top seems to be the place that he feels most comfortable at. When they cross the line this time, it'll be 97 laps complete. We are approaching that lap 100 mark. Again, expecting that fuel window to open up here for these guys in probably about 4 to 5 laps. Just a matter of how far to run after that. We are going to take a quick break with Clinton Woodby still leading at Atlanta. We will be right back for pit stops, the conclusion of the Flatwoods 210. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Flatwoods 200 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, when we went to break, it was Clinton Woodby out in front. When we came back, it was David Traylor. But just at the time of coming back, he is making his final pit stop of the night. And he's not alone. Brody Benty, one of the rookies, joining him, along with Bill Hales, another one of the rookies, of course, Daytona winner. And so this is starting what's going to be, again, that final green flag cycle here on the night. So we are now 103 of 130 laps through this race. That's approaching that 25 lap to go mark. That is when it's crunch time, but I don't think it's necessarily crunch time until we get through this last pit stop, especially with the diciness of the racing that we've got at the front right now. Woodby, I think he's going to pit this time as you see him jump to the bottom there before they even get to the turn. Watch for the 92 to turn it left here. Slow down, try to make that pit stop. Yep, sure enough. Clinton Woodby going to take his final set. Not final set, but what he's hoping is going to be his final stop, so he'll take 4 tires. Mark Beverly's going to follow him in. And I mean, maybe the door's open for a little bit of strategy play, but the tire fall off, it's just too great here to really try 2 tires, at least in the view that I've seen what we've had tonight for what we had last season. And notice the lap time right now for Clinton Woodby. Last lap, a 32.7. Now we're going to go compare that to David Traylor. By the way, following, of course, Clinton Woodby in was Jay Stinson and Mark Beverly. And so a lot of the leaders trying this early strategy here, the short pit, if you will. See if it works out. Corey Buskirk making his stop now. So again, a 32.6 was the lap time that we saw right there. Now, if we compare that to new tires, which you got to go all the way back here to David Traylor, who's now been running on new tires for about a lap or so, 31.6. And again, these guys didn't even run on the longest tire stint that we've seen all night by quite a good margin. So that's already a second of fall off. I think the sooner you can get in and get what you hope is going to be your last set of good years here tonight, the better. Now we're going to see the 46 here of Wesley Phillips. Bring it down to the pits. Ooh, he had a lock up there. Clay Cantrell gets in just behind him. If the 46 sped there, I think he was okay as Corey Buskirk getting ready to work his way out of the pits. Derek Catt, he'll go in for some service as well. In fact, I believe he's maybe coming out of the pits now. Joey Hickox in the 3, finishing off his service. 4 tires and fuel here for the 3 truck. And I don't think that was it. I think maybe he may have got a penalty here. As sure enough, he had major issues. This was over in turn 4. Trying to get down to speed, and yeah, he misses the pits in general, but he still takes the detour through the grass. And then ultimately, looks like maybe just decides to call it, at least for now. So not the run Joey Hickox was looking for. But up front, still a lot of really aggressive racing. Clinton Woodby just got his lap back, as did quite a few of the other guys that were leaders at the time. So now as we go back live, it is Russ Kilgore who's being scored as your leader. Kenneth Redinger in second. Back in third, it's Chase Greer. But now Russ is going to make his final pit stop of the night as the 4 brings it down. Gets it slowed up just before that yellow commitment line, or the commitment cone rather, which was just a little bit further. And oh no, hold your horses. Caution is out. Trouble on the track. Was it the 03 of Keith Prince? No, I believe it was Aiden Lunn who had issues. The 32 now in the pits. Getting reports that he crashed. And oh my goodness. And I do not think that is exactly what David Traylor wanted to see, because it looked like with the strategy play, he was going to be in phenomenal position to try to finish this thing off late in the going. Not anymore. Aiden Lunn in the 32. Let's go back to the yellow flag here. He had crashed, but I don't think this is what necessarily brought out the caution here. So this was him coming to the pits. Gets down on the apron. Oh, he gets back up the track. Gets into the 97 of Mark Beverly. You gotta wonder, did that send Mark around? No, Mark was able to save it. Phenomenal save at that. But then Aiden Lunn did go around from that slide, and it may have been just enough on the racetrack to bring out the caution. But caution didn't come out right here, though. Caution came out when he was already back to his pit box. Good overall save by the 32 to not hit anything and keep the truck pretty low, immediately get onto the pits. And so when did the caution come out? Still no caution at this point, as you see Derek Catt running with no issues. Still no caution. 32 pulls into his box, so I'm almost thinking it had to have been something else, as now the caution was out there. Oh, there we go. We got a smoker further up. That could have certainly explained it. Just by the entrance of turn 3 is where that was. We're going to figure out exactly who this was. So Aiden Lund had the issue, but we don't believe that was the issue that actually brought out the caution. And surely there had to be somebody back here by turn 3 that can give us a view on exactly what happened here. Was it Dylan? Oh, it might have been Dylan. Dylan already had trouble earlier. I see smoke out of that truck, which tells me he hit something, and yeah, that's exactly what he did. And he hit this inside wall really, really hard. Here we go. Coming off of turn number 2. Gets into the outside wall, trying to steer it off. Saves it initially, but runs right into the path of oncoming traffic. And that's the 63 of Brody Benty, it looks like. And he's just, he's not going to have anywhere to go here. Makes contact. But again, nothing that Brody could do in that case. And that's what sent the 99 hard into the inside wall. He's being scored 5th right now. There's no way that can be right. Watch this one more time, and we'll slow it down for you here. First from a mix of the TV1, TV2. And again, watch the steering wheel here as he gets into the outside wall. See, he's trying everything to get it off the wall here. And so as he puts a little bit of left wheel input into it, all of a sudden it shoots it off the wall. 45 degrees sideways. Brody Benty initially with a phenomenal job missing. You see the fire out of the pipes, but that's just too big of a checkup for the 63 to try to be able to adjust to. That quick and almost carbon copy of the hit that Dylan Paws had earlier. Unfortunately, this one going to be a little bit harder of an impact as he hit it with the nose of the truck instead of the side. And he goes for a couple of loops where he comes to a grinding halt. Now, it's a little interesting since it was still below the racing surface, but it did draw the caution nonetheless, and then you see the smoke out of the back. That was going to be a night ender for Dylan as soon as the crash itself happened. But more importantly, now this puts us in a very interesting position. We're going to have a less than 20 lap to go restart, and I'm trying to figure out what sort of setup they've got going on right now. See, a lot of the field here is being scored very, very interestingly for the moment. So I think iRacing's still trying to get all of the scoring here settled out and corrected. As that caution did come out kind of right in the middle of green flag cycles, sometimes that can create these sort of issues. So we don't have confirmation on who your leader is just yet. It's showing Kenneth Redinger, which might be right, but I assumed if he pit that would no longer be correct. So we'll see if everybody in front either gets waved around the pace car or this updates and maybe no longer shows Redinger as your leader. And yeah, it's going to wave all these guys around the truck, the pace truck. So that would explain that issue. And this will indeed move Kenneth Redinger up to being scored as your leader. So a really good time caution. We said earlier that Redinger was going to need, not necessarily a miracle, but he was going to need some help. And lucky for him, he did get that help when the yellow flag came out. He didn't have to pit under green. So he was able to pit, maintain the track position, and now he's back out in front where he has been at his best all night, especially earlier in stage 1 where he dominated and went on to win that stage. But now he's going to be looking to do just about the same. Not quite 25 laps left. In fact, it's going to be 18 as the entire field is trying to catch up to the back here. It's going to be close. Got to watch for the big checkups here that we could see on this restart now with all the chaos and confusion that is stemming from that scoring. I'm not sure if it was a scoring error or if it's just the way, again, it set it up due to the awkward timing of the caution. And yeah, sure enough, I was waiting to see that. They're going to delay the green here to try to get this all sorted out. Not too surprised there. And good call by race control. Certainly don't want these guys going green unless everybody's set up to have a chance to go for it. So it does still keep Redinger in the lead, of course. No change there. By the way, it's Chase Greer in second. On the outside for this restart, highest position he's been at here tonight, up 10 officially, where he started this race at. Justin Bentley back in third, Russ Kilgore in fourth, Riley Gomes in fifth with Nick Wood in sixth, Clinton Woodby seventh, David Traylor in eighth, Zach Stevens in ninth, Ryan Gomes rounding out your top 10. All right, just before they do go green as the lights flicked off on the pace car again, pace truck. And so expecting to go back green here as long as there's no more issues. Let's talk about what points we're looking like real quick, at least in terms of individual points. I have to save team points for later, but after race 1, shouldn't be too much of a surprise to see Bill Hales in the top 3 for points. The surprise is that it's actually Kevin Winker who is currently leading in points after what he was able to do at Daytona last week. Good run, came up just short of the win, but was able to gather a lot of points in other regards to put himself in that spot. Again, Bill Hales second, Jay Stinson third, Keith Prince fourth, Justin Parham in fifth, Matthew Fritz sixth, Drew Hickok seventh, Haas Beverly eighth, Zachary Stevens in ninth, and Clinton Woodby currently rounding out your top 10 in points after race 1. And a lot of things looking like they're going to change here tonight after race 2. We're getting ready for a late race restart. 17 laps to go at Atlanta. Green flag is back in the air. Really good jump from Redinger at a lot of tracks. We would not be saying that that's the right thing to do, as they are wrecking big time out back on the restart. A lot of trouble so far on all the restarts we've had here tonight late in the going. Bill Hills, Randy Bonomi, Jay Stinson all get their trucks back rolling after being in the grass. So now this will put us back green with under 15 laps to go. So this is just helping the cause for any of the guys who maybe needed to go back in, fix some more damage, maybe go back and take tires. They didn't like their call here. With these guys here, I can tell you, you're going to all be going back in to fix some damage. Let's go back and take a look. So this is, go back to the caution here again. They never really got it fully sorted out here. I mean, look how long this single file line is. And the big key here is going to be, notice the gaps, all the different gaps. Right now you see there's a gap between, looks like, I can't tell who that is just in front of the 46. But there you go. They start to close these gaps up, and then they've got to slow down as they do, but that's not really the issue there. The 46 just does not even, I mean, he doesn't even, it almost looks like he didn't even hit the throttle. The natural assumption here is going to be a missed shift, but I mean, yeah, the 46 never went. And that's the rookie, Wesley Phillips, who had been having a phenomenal night up until that last caution. But, I mean, what happened here? I got to assume he's just in the wrong gear. But usually you figure it out quicker than this. Let's take a listen. Yeah, I mean, he's trying to find the right gear. It's just way too late. He was in the wrong gear. Tried to get it down to the right gear before he accelerated, but it's just, again, just way too little too late at that point. And fortunately, when you got an on-rushing pack behind you, eventually somebody's not quite able to get the memo in time. And fortunately for Bill Hales, there's nothing he could do here either. Trying to check up, but stack up's that big. The guys behind are expecting this group to go, and when they don't, there's nowhere for anybody to go. But looks like the 46 actually gets back up the track with that little bit of wheel spin. That's how I believe Jay Stinson got turned around, and then a couple others as part of the wreck go for a slide into the grass. But I think it was Bill Hales who's going to get the worst damage from this one. So we go back and take another look here. The 88 of Cantrell actually spun down and gets into Bill Hales. So initially the 53 looked like he was going to be able to make it through, but did not quite end that way. Give you one more view here on the onboard of Bill Hales, show you just how severe that checkup was for the 46. And then, so there's the initial contact. Bill misses it. Then Cantrell spun out. And big hit right there for Bill Hales. Back that up one more time and give the sponsor a little bit of love right there. There you see it. Rhino linings of Bristol. Sprayed on liner. And I'm telling you, I think Jay Stinson might need some new liner for his truck bed after it just got destroyed there with the hit. All right, so as we go back to the front of the field, Kenneth Redinger still being scored as your leader. Justin Bentley second. Chase Greer back in third. David Traylor in fourth. Russ Kilgore fifth. Nick Wood in sixth. Quentin Woodby in seventh. Wesley Phillips in eighth. Derek Catt in ninth. And Keith Prince rounding out your top 10. Looks like it's going to be 12 laps to go. Again, assuming we get the one-to-go signal this time for the next restart. And on that note, we are going to go take another side-by-side break. Meet us right back here for the restart to see who's going to get the win here tonight at Atlanta. Back live at Atlanta Motor Speedway, getting ready for what could potentially be the final restart of the night. Going to be 12 laps to go in the Flatwoods 200. Who is going to win it? Kenneth Redinger got stage 1, fell back in stage 2, but he's back out front, back to his throne. We'll see if he can hold on to it here the rest of the way. Green flag back in the air. 12 laps again to go, so still got a bit of a ways here. A lot of things could happen, but the big thing now is there's no more tire saving. 12 laps, you are pushing from here to the checkered flag. Good run down the back stretch for Kenneth Redinger. Neither lane really able to close on him, but right now give the advantage to the outside there, the 16 of Justin Bentley. Boy, what a win it would be for Bentley here if he could find a way to pull this thing out, especially in a late race restart. The 16 was kind of creeping in the shadows here tonight. He had the speed. It was just a matter of if he could also get a little bit of luck on his side at the right time. Looking like that's exactly what happened now. He took a peek going into turn 1 there to the inside of Redinger. Not able to make it stick there. We almost had some trouble out back. It looked like a couple of trucks loose. One of those looked like the 69 of Ronnie Morrison. He saves it, gathers it back up, and now Redinger gets clear again of the 16. This time he'll drop low. Chase Greer trying to pull himself up into the mix here as well after starting on the front row for the last restart. David Traylor back looking to break inside the podium. Boy, David Traylor, no stranger to becoming the bridesmaid here multiple times in the NOMA Truck Series and the Asphalt Outlaw Racing Truck Series as well, but tonight could be his night. He had a ton of long run speed, especially before we had that string of cautions here towards the end. But how about the pack racing? I mean, this time, I would say, honestly, throw just about your top 7 under a blanket, maybe even top 8, as Riley Gomes starts to bring himself back into the mix. But these front two, do they work together at all to try to create a little bit of separation between that pack that's racing as aggressive as they are right now between David Traylor, Russ Kilgore, Chase Greer, Clinton Woodby, Keith Prince? I think if you're Justin Bentley here, you're keeping an eye on your mirror. If Traylor starts to close up, you got to make the move. He's not even going to wait that long. Another look to the inside as they're wrecking out back. And 31 of Stinson is involved as he goes for a spin, tags the outside concrete wall. And now we will restart within 5 laps to go. Actually, maybe right at 5 to go. No, I think it's going to be 4 to go, actually. And that changes things up even more now. Total 8th caution of the night. See if this kind of shows the hand of anybody's strategy here. If anybody's got any tires left. And if you take them, or if it's just too late in the run to take them right now and you stay out the rest of the way and hope for the best. Let's go to the chopper view first here. And watch as the 33 of Zach Stevens. He's in the middle. Ronnie Morrison, they're all fine. It's just behind this. Jay Stinson in the 31 on the inside here of Michael Lawrence. And I think Jay thinks he's clear. And for a split second there, maybe he was. But by the time he actually gets up the banking, he's no longer clear. And I mean, he just runs up into the lane where Michael Lawrence is. Lawrence had the run on the outside. And once that contact's made, it's going to turn Stinson around into the outside wall. Michael Lawrence is able to duck low and avoid the brute of the damage, but he does get tagged in the back there. But it looked like, I believe that was Brody Benty. And then Jay Stinson with a couple of hard shots, one to the front, one to the rear of the truck. Luckily, nobody else gets involved in this one. Take another look here from TV1, TV2 together. Yeah, I do genuinely think that's just a simple case of Jay thinking he was clear. I mean, he was really, really close. In fact, the spotter, maybe they've even called clear. But again, by the time he actually worked up the banking, of course, he was no longer clear. And at that point, Michael Lawrence, nothing he could do. It just kind of all happened so quick when you're running at over 170 miles an hour. In fact, we'll take an onboard view here with Michael Lawrence to show you what he could see. And might have saw Jay starting to slide up, but probably wasn't expecting him to come up that last half a lane or so. As again, it was a very methodical kind of move up the track, and it's just nothing that Michael Lawrence could do there. You see him getting tagged in the back right there. So that might be the one fast pair for Jay if he's still got it. But as we go back live up front, Kenneth Redinger still being scored as your leader, Justin Bentley in second. Big thing here is the fact that this gives us the chance for another restart. And with wheel spin actually being a factor here at Atlanta tonight, certainly gives Kenneth Redinger, you would think, the advantage, knowing that he gets to decide when he wants to go. But Justin Bentley, if he can hang with him here, he might have a good shot if he can hold a side draft and maybe hold that 24 from getting clear before turn 1. Just so hard to do, though. Let's see what these guys have got here. And So it looks like they'll get the 1-to-go signal next time. As you see them all single file still now. Doesn't look like fuel's a major issue for anybody, as nobody really coasting on the apron. Good news there. Tires were the main question. But with 4 laps to go, and I mean, some of the late cautions, I just think you got to stay out for the track position at this point. It's just too important. Even if you don't get the win, certainly can get a good finish versus going to the back, taking tires. And I don't think having enough time realistically to use those tires, even with the fall off that we've had. We just haven't had that much racing here since that last green flag pit stop. So 4 laps to go gives us basically a natural green, white, checkered +2. That means we've got to make it to the white flag. So 3 laps, the first 3 laps under green for this race to be official. If we get a caution at any point, once we go back green here, then that is going to put us in our first overtime of the night. Again, we have 3 of those if needed, but hoping, of course, that we don't have to use all of those. So if you got a favorite right now, who's going to be? I mean, I think Kenneth Redinger would be the obvious choice, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to give you my favorite and my dark horse here. The favorite that I've got for tonight, I think I'm going to have to give it to David Traylor. He's had to overcome a couple obstacles early on in this race, but since he's been able to get to the front, he has not really left it since. And short run, he showed that he had long run speed. He's shown that he's got short run speed. He's also shown that he's got a good paint scheme there. Mushroom Top T, one of the newer sponsors for trailers. So maybe tonight's his night. Clinton Woodby can't count him out. But then for the dark horse pick, I think you knew was coming for this one. Russ Kilgore. A lot of people, again, maybe had him flying under the radar, maybe not counting him in as a chance to win here tonight, but I mean, he has checked every box and more. He has done everything right. He's put himself in the right position time and time again here through all these different restarts. Got in a wreck, was able to overcome that, and now that he's back inside the top 4. He's got a win at Atlanta before. I know it was New Atlanta, but it was still Atlanta nonetheless. Looking to see if he can tack on a second win at Atlanta tonight in a regular season race. And, of course, have the couplet complete, getting a win at both Atlantas. All right, so the pace truck works its way through 3 and 4. Lights are off. That means we are indeed going green this time. It will be a 4-lap shootout at one of the slickest tracks in all of motorsports to determine who is going to win the second race of the season. Bill Hales got the win last week. The way it's shaping up, looks like we are going to see a first-time winner this season right here. Green flag back of the air. Good start for both lanes. Kilgore spins the tires. He goes into the outside wall. Kilgore with major trouble off the restart. And now more trouble as Riley Gomes goes for a spin. Caution is back out. Gomes comes to a halt just after the pit exit. Oh man, heartbreak for Russ Kilgore. One mistake and it came at the worst time. And that is heavy, heavy front end damage, especially to the right front fender there for Russ Kilgore. So he's going to have to get that patched up, as I don't know if he's got a fast per left. He was involved in a decent shot earlier. I believe it was Dylan Paws. So, man, that is such an unfortunate break. Russ Kilgore was doing so good tonight. Gotta hope we didn't give him the announcer's jinx, but I think he just spins the tires right here. We talked about these restarts being a little interesting, and tire spin actually being a factor here tonight, something we don't normally see. And I think the chopper cam is going to do it the best justice right here. As we back this up a little bit further, as they had just gotten into the Geico restart zone. And as it just, watch the Ford. Does he get any help here, or is it just by himself? So as they accelerate, no help. Again, he's right in that area where you have to turn the wheel just a little bit as you're accelerating, and spun the tires. It's all it took, got him out of shape, and he did do a good job in terms of getting out of the way of the field. Fortunately, though, ended his day, and then Chase Greer sneaks by on the inside here, and then Riley Gomes actually hits Chase Greer. That's what's going to send him around and cause this secondary incident, which is the one that actually ultimately brought out the caution here. As there's the contact with Chase Greer, that sends him down across the 88 of Clay Cantrell. And Bill Hills had nowhere to go. A couple guys tagged the outside wall as well. So Zach Stevens taking evasive maneuvers. Let's go to cockpit view here for Riley Gomes. In fact, we're going to go to the nose view through this whole incident. It's a good save by Chase Greer. I mean, when you get hit in the left rear like that, it doesn't matter if you're up to speed or not. Usually that does not end too well, but don't see much damage there for Riley, so I think he'll be able to continue here without too many issues. Well, now this is officially going to put us into our first overtime of the night. It'll be a 2-lap shootout. Again, we have 3 green-white checkers in total if we need them. However, on this green white checkered, if we can make it to the white flag, then this race will be official, and these guys will race it out even if the entire field were to pile up on the last lap. So I want to give a shout out again to everybody that's still sticking with us here. I know it's starting to get late, 11:44 Eastern, but a good night for racing. Again, appreciate everybody that's came out tonight. K-Dub says, I guess when you're at a quarter panel, you can't just move up and wreck everyone. Nancy says, glad you got all your issues fixed, Austin. Love the different camera shots, angles. You always keep the viewers informed, and we enjoy the coverage. Well, I certainly appreciate it, Nancy. Glad that you enjoy. Charles Albert says, go Wood and Lund. See if Nick Wood or Aiden Lund can find a way to get back through here with all the chaos we're getting ready to see. Nick Wood, don't count him out. We talked to him earlier. Right now he is in that 9th spot, so still well inside the top 10. So we'll see what happens here towards the end. Nancy Hickok's putting her favorites in the chat. She says I'm going with the 16 of Justin Bentley and the 24, or says, but the 24 of Kenneth Redinger is going to be hard to beat. Yeah, it's a pretty good observation there, Nancy. And I think that's exactly how it's going to play out. But if Bentley plays his cards right here, certainly agree that he's got a great chance at it as well. See what happens here. Mark Stevens says, let's go 33 of Zach Stevens. Zach got a couple wins in the NOMA Gen 6 Series after being a rookie last season in the NOMA Truck Series. So kind of figured it was just going to be a matter of time before he'd come up here and make something happen. Tonight, though, not the way he wanted things to go. Currently sits in 17th, and he's down 3 positions from where he started this race at. TK says, let's go 4X Racing. Number 69, Ronnie Morrison, who actually sits just behind Zach Stevens right now, up a position from where he started. And Ronnie showing how much speed he's got, especially in qualifying at super speedways. And of course, looking to see if he can translate that over here to the 1.5 mile, 2 mile tracks. Of course, Auto Club next week going to be a little bit more of a similar look to Daytona or Talladega. Not quite the same, but the draft going to play a bigger role. Speed's going to be a little bit faster. We're going to see them fanning out a little bit wider. So as they cross the stripe that time, we go back to the front. Sure enough, lights are off on the pace truck. That means 1 lap to go here before we're going to get the green flag, which will be right here. And again, 2-lap shootout, the rules of overtime. If they take the white flag, race will be official. If they don't, we get a caution on that first lap, then we will rack them up and try it again. Would be warming the tires up a little bit there as you see him on the outside line. He gets ready to go back green. Boy, 2-lap shootouts are always fun. It doesn't matter what track it is, but Atlanta, where there's about 3 different grooves to work, everybody's still got relatively, I'm not going to say fresh tires, but still relatively good tires. And you got some of the best in all of truck racing here at the front. Man, this is going to get exciting. Don't count out Randy Bonomi, Keith Prince, David Traylor. I mean, there's so many guys right now inside the top 10 that have a shot at this. It's just all going to be how everything plays out and who sets themselves up in the right position at the right time. Here we go. Pace truck working his way off of turn 4. Going to make the left turn now, hopefully for the final time here on the night. Overtime number 1 at Atlanta Motor Speedway to crown a winner of the Flatwoods 200. Green flag back in the air. Good uniform restart this time. Doesn't look like anybody really spun the tires, at least nobody near the front. Kenneth Redinger with a stellar restart again. He's able to get clear of Bentley diving down into turn 1. And at this point, it's all about finding clean air and carrying as much throttle time as you can. Bentley trying to arc it down the track. He's going to get split 3 wide there. Trailer cuts him a break, tucks in line behind the 16. It's a drag race down the back straightaway into turn 3. Give the advantage out of Justin Bentley. Sails it in. He's trying to get clear. Redinger, he does. Justin Bentley now out in front as we're coming to the white flag. Are they going to make it? And they do make it. 1 lap to go. Justin Bentley looking for his first career win in the NOMA Truck Series. Redinger with a crossover. Back to the bottom through the quad oval into turn 1. Trailer still wrapping the bottom. Bentley up top. He's going to get clear, but this thing's not over the 16 with another crossover. He's got a big run down the straightaway. Redinger throws 1 block. Bentley says no thank you. He goes a lane lower. Final time into turn 3. This could come down to a drag race. Bentley going to have to put it on the door here of Redinger out of the turn if he wants a chance. This is going to come all the way down to the stripe. Bentley versus Redinger. Bentley's got to run. It's not enough. Kenneth Redinger wins it in a photo finish at Atlanta. He gets it by 2/100ths of a second. What a race and what a win for Kenneth Redinger. First one of the season. Promise you, though, that is not going to be the last time you hear us saying that. Well, let's go back and take a look at the checkered flag moment here for Kenneth Redinger. I mean, what a race these two put up. But, I mean, the winning move came in the quad oval on the start of the white flag lap for Redinger. He had the run, and he knew the run would be big enough to get clear before the turn. It's exactly what he wanted to do. That's what he did, and it worked out absolutely perfect. Takes a dive to the inside. In fact, do you notice what he did there? He actually worked the 16 up just before entry so that he could dive it down, carry the momentum, and get clear. The 16, Bentley had a run. Redinger threw one block. That slowed the momentum down just a little bit on the 16. You got to wonder if that was just enough. But then, man, through 3 and 4, they were in a dead heat here. And, man, I could not believe how close this thing got. I got to be honest, I thought Bentley I thought he was going to get it here. But Redinger was able to just outduel him. So they got to the start-finish line right here side by side, but the outside usually carries momentum down the straightaway. And then when they bang doors against Bentley sideways, he did the right thing, I think, by trying to lay it on his door, but then gets into him again right there, trying for all he was worth there, but just comes up ever so slightly short. Man, what a finish, though. Take a look at that finish one more time. They're right at the checkered. Oh, my goodness. So as we go back live here, it looks like Kenneth Redinger, no celebrations tonight. He's going to immediately park it. Had quite a bit of damage. May not have been able to get it back around nonetheless. We'll take a look at your race results before we get interviews from your top 3 here all the night. Bringing home the win. Again, first win of the season is Kenneth Redinger. We got somebody burning it down by the start-finish line. I can't tell who it is, though. So nonetheless, Kenneth Redinger does get the win. Justin Bentley brings home second. David Traylor rounding out your podium in third. Clinton Woodby in fourth. Keith Prince in fifth. Randy Bonomi in sixth. Mark Beverly back in seventh. Chase Greer in eighth. Clay Cantrell ninth. Bill Hales rounds out your top 10. Wesley Phillips finishes 11th. Ryan Gomes in 12th. Nick Wood 13th with Brody Benty in 14th. Zach Stevens in 15th. Ronnie Morrison back in 16th with Michael Lawrence in 17th. Derek Catt in 18th. Wiley Cantrell in 19th. And Riley Gomes rounding out your top 20. Jay Stinson finishes 21st. Corey Buskirk in 22nd. Aiden Lund 23rd. Russ Kilgore 24th. Dylan Pauls 25th. Joey Hickox 26th. Justin Parman 27th. Kevin Winker 28th. And Sam Boutwell rounding out the field tonight finishes 29th. Again, did not make the start of the race. All right, we are going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. Stick with us. We will be right back at Atlanta. All right, back live at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, David Traylor. David, this is Austin in the booth. Got a copy.
I got you, Austin.
Well, you came out tonight. You put on another good showing. It ends with another good run. You come up a bit short. First question I got, man, is if we didn't get that caution during the green flag pit cycles, did you think you had this thing closed up?
I definitely felt good on the long run. If I could get the right rear to fire after about 10 or 15 laps, I felt like I pretty much had the fastest truck on the track by a mile. In the long run, I was good. Short run, I was kind of mediocre. I didn't really know how to run it. So there with a couple cautions to kind of end the race, I was just like, well, I'm going to try a couple different things. And it kind of worked, kind of didn't. Maybe I needed 1 or 2 more laps to build a run to get first or second there.
Well, nonetheless, still a great finish tonight at a very tricky mile and a half in Atlanta. Before we let you head out, celebrate the podium finish, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Oh, yeah. Thanks to my teammates here over at DC Motorsports, Brody, Clint, Bill, Dylan. We kind of help each other, a good mix of guys there. Shout out to Clint and Bill for pulling in a top 10. And then Brody and Dylan had a pretty tough go, but it had a decent finish there. Thanks to Mushroom Top Tea. They're on the truck this week. Friend of mine owns a tea company for all kinds of medicinal needs. So look over there if you're interested in that. Thank you to Joey and Jay for putting this league on. It's super fun. That's why, pulls in 29, 30 trucks plus a week. And then shout out to you and everybody watching over on Ghost Racing Network. It's always a great show. And if you're not already, subscribe to the stream.
There you go. Well, we appreciate the self-promotion there. And again, congrats on the third place finish, David. We will see you next week.
Thank you, Austin.
All right, now that brings us to your second place finisher. Again, by 2/100ths of a second. Justin Bentley brings home his season best finish tonight. Justin, this is Austin in the booth. Got a copy.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, it was close. I thought you set everything up right, but you come up just 2/100ths short. Was there anything you wish you would have done different there on that whole white flag lap?
Yeah, if I didn't do anything different, I would have protected the bottom coming into one. He got the bottom. I kind of crossed him back over coming down the back stretch, but he had the momentum on the outside. So, no, it's fun, man. I don't know what else I could have done there other than protect the bottom.
Well, you definitely picked up some momentum tonight, of course, with the second place finish. Now, next week, we head into Auto Club. Similar style of racing, bumpy, very abrasive track, but a little bit bigger, a little bit faster. How you feeling about your chances there?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Auto Club was my first league win, and in this NOMA league here probably 2 years ago. It was a lot of fun then, and it's one of my favorite tracks. I look forward to it.
All right. Well, before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank my teammates, M&T Motorsports, Clay Cantrell, Derek Catt, Randy Bonomi, Wiley Cantrell. I enjoy working with those guys. And just shout out to my mom. She's watching. I appreciate her support. And I'd like to thank Joey, Jason, everybody involved with the league here in NOMA. I took a little stint there. I was gone. Super glad to be back. And I'd like to thank you for the broadcast. I like to go back and watch them. You do an awesome job.
Thank you. And again, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the second place finish tonight. We'll see you next week at Auto Club.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
There you go. And now that brings us to your winner here on the night, Kenneth Redinger, first win of the season. I don't think that's going to be the last time you hear me saying that, but nonetheless, Kenneth, this is also in the booth. Got a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, you bring home the win tonight, but you didn't quite get to pull away with it like it looked like you were going to do early. When we started getting a couple of those late cautions, what were you feeling like the end was going to come down to? And, man, how did you fend off Justin Bentley those last couple laps?
Oh yeah, it was a good race with him. It was just he was starting to figure out what I was doing on the restarts to go early, so he was kind of timing it right just to get a good run with me because he knew I was going so early in the box. So I took the high line there to try to throw him off, and I think that was enough to get him kind of off his game there, and then was able to clear him. And it's with the way this car's set up here, it's those first few laps, it's like restricted plate style, so you're kind of trying to block them and not let them get the run because it seemed like the bottom was faster for sure on new tires and it was wide open pretty much.
You certainly managed to hold them all off here tonight to capture the win. Again, first win of the season. Next week we could go to Auto Club, maybe a chance to go back to back. But with all that in mind, before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Just shout out to the league and shout out to you for broadcasting these for us. It's fun to go back and watch these during my work day on Mondays.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Again, congrats on the win. We'll see you next week at Auto Club.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, that is going to wrap up our coverage here tonight. From Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Flatwoods 200 did not disappoint. Photo finish here to kick us off, only second race in. What a race it was, and what a win it was for Kenneth Redinger. I want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Again, the NOMA Truck Series will be back again next Saturday with Auto Club Speedway on tap. Just after this, stick with Ghost Racing Network here tonight as we head over to McCall Motorsports Money Racing for the Little Dog Big Dog Championship. That's it for me, Austin Green, here on Ghost Racing Network. And until next time, have a good night.